I will name today's talk Updating Our Relationship with Rituals. And I am going to read from a book, here it is, that I co-authored and published in 1994. That was over 30 years ago. Yikes. And its title is A Woman's Guide to Spiritual Renewal, though hopefully, or I think probably pretty for sure, what I will read today will be applicable to whatever gender you may be. Back then, there were men and women. It's gotten more complicated over the last 30 years. So as I was looking through the book, thinking, oh, there was a whole chapter on rituals in this book. And our topic is rituals. Let me go back to this chapter and see, what do I think of this chapter? Well, I'm not going to make a strongly answer that question, but it was really interesting to me to consider how my views have changed. Some of them a bit, and some of them quite a bit more than a bit, quite a lot. And then some of them seem similar. As I'm reading the book, it seems like my voice, that's a term used in writing your voice, is similar, or our voice, because again, this was another co-authored book, and I want to give her credit. Carol Newhouse at the time goes by Osmer now. At any rate, our voices seem similar to the voices in our current book that I wrote with Linda Modaro. Now, something else that's different, I could go on, but that's not our topic today, but is this book is a workbook. It's described as a workbook, and it's full of many, many guided exercises. And as I think most of you know, that's very different from how I teach now. So the book is divided into two main sections. The first one's healing your spiritual alienation, and the second main section is seeking spiritual connection. And that the chapter I will read from mostly is from the second section, and its chapter heading is called Developing Rituals. Just a little back understanding. The premise of the book is that women have been really hurt in traditional religions. And remember, we're backtrack 30 years ago, okay? And if you can, I think most of you can remember 30 years ago, if not all of you, women were much more prejudiced against in traditional religions. Things have changed in a lot of religions in the last 30 years. But it was about that. And then the second part again about seeking spiritual connection. And just to sort of place it in a context, that the chapter headings, and again, I go along with these now still. I like these headings of seeking spiritual connection. We're experiencing nature, experiencing beauty and sensuality, using your creativity, developing rituals, listening to your intuition, nurturing relationship and community, and endings and new beginnings. So there's that challenging word in the title, spiritual. That can be challenging. People love it. People don't love it. People don't know what it means. I'm not sure I know what it means. The meaning kind of shifts and changes for me. It's a real kind of catch-all word, maybe. But I'll tell you what we thought it was back over 30 years ago. And I'm reading from the book. In contrast to the containing and organizing function of religion, spirituality is more open-ended. It is about a process or an attitude rather than any specific event. Spirituality refers to a personal inner experience. Therefore, it is different for each of us. Spirituality is about everything that is extraordinary, yet at the same time can be experienced during the most ordinary moments. Oh, I need to backtrack. Another thing that is so similar to this book as to the book that Linda Modaro and I wrote, Reflective Meditation, Cultivating Kindness and Curiosity in the Buddhist Company, is that we quote from other people, in this case, other women. In the case of the book Linda and I did, you all, the voices of our community. So here's a quote from somebody who we interviewed. Spiritual, oh, that's the difference also. We interviewed people rather than just being part of the community. Spirituality is who I am behind all the masks I wear in daily life. The open, vulnerable part inside of me that meets life with both innocence and integrity. It is the moment when I surrender to what is and to who I am at my very core. Oh my goodness, time is going by and I haven't even gotten to the section on rituals. I better get going, huh? Uh, let me see what else I want to say before. Yeah, let me jump ahead to that section on developing rituals. And again, I'm jumping in this chapter. I'm not reading the whole chapter. So, but it starts with childhood religious rituals. Rituals are prescribed methods for spiritual practice. They are participatory events designed to open our minds and hearts to our spirituality. When a ritual works for us, I think that's an important little phrase there, the actions we take and the words we say feel compatible with our inner truth. We feel safe while performing the ritual. Spiritual rituals are as diverse as the people who perform them. Their effect can vary greatly. We may feel energized or comforted. Rituals can be used to bless, to heal, to protect, or to give thanks. As I read that last sentence, I bet we could add to it. Whether traditional or personal, ritual practice does demand a certain amount of trust. You learn to trust a ritual form in the same way you would trust a recipe, a dance, or a set of physical exercises. And I have to put a little parenthetical statement in that. You might choose to change the recipe some. I never can do the recipe exactly right every time. You might choose to ad-lib a bit in the dance or adapt a physical exercise as your body changes. So, in fact, I would hope you would. Those of us whose experience with ritual has been part of an oppressive religious experience may feel unsafe with ritual. Let's see where we're going to go. Okay, so here's another voice from somebody who we interviewed. Annie is her name. For Annie, spiritual connection through the use of ritual was motivated by childhood experiences within Catholicism. And here's a quote from her. I remember coming home from church with my girlfriends and playing mass. Girls weren't allowed to help on the altar, so we would take turns being the priest and the altar boy. We wore long-sleeved shirts. For the communion, we poured grape juice from my mother's fancy vinegar bottle, pretending it was the blood of Jesus. For wafers, we had crackers, and we even had bells to ring. By acting out this ritual, I felt more connected to my spirituality than I ever did at Mass in church. Annie's story illustrates the close relationship between creative play and spiritual experience. In this case, Annie was creatively acting out a spiritual ritual that she had seen performed many times, a ritual that held meaning for her and had inspired her so much that she wanted to take part in it, to experience it, what she felt altar boys were experiencing. And then Annie takes what she learned as a child about the spiritual power of ritual into the realm of performance art. I've always enjoyed acting out my experiences. Right now, I'm involved in a play about women in cancer. It's helping me heal unresolved grief from the deaths of my grandmother, mother, and aunt from cancer, as well as some of my friends. I see myself as a vehicle of healing energy through the medium of the theater and ritual. I'm also in an improvisational acting group. We use the ritual of performance to transform our pain. This has become a spirit healing practice for me. So there's just a little taste of what we did with the interviews and how people, let's say, updated and used ritual in new ways. Let's see, what else? We end every chapter with an area, a section called integration. And again, prescribed exercises, though really, in this case, and I think in many cases, really suggestions for contemplation. And, we call that reflection. So I'll just read off those questions as we always do, take it or leave it, whatever feels right, or I'll do a little of both. So how has ritual played a role in my spiritual journey? That would probably be enough. Actually, I think that is enough. I'm not going to read the others because that's one thing I feel very differently about than I wrote the book. Back then, I felt like more is better, and now I no longer feel that way. So I think I will leave the talk right there, and we will meditate for our usual 30 minutes. I recognize you all.